past, fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful laws and past. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Now, hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and let us begin. Whenever we last left off, everyone has moved into the Class 1A dorms. Meanwhile, we do have the incidents going on with the villains. Bakugo, Ibara, and two other students, well, Ida and another student, have all been taken. Now, along with that, we will pick up with Class 1A, specifically Midoriya, after All Might has arrived and begun to explain the situation. Now, All Might has just sat down with Midoriya and explained. Currently, they have been, well, using what Momo has given them. Midoriya confused. Now, he goes on explaining that Momo is able to embed a tracker within a Nomu, and that this has given them a location. Not only that, but, well, there's also something else. Him introducing Lady Merlin. Midoriya confused and surprised. As soon as Midoriya's surprise is over with, everyone is staring at this lady. Hello, Izuku. Hello, Dian. Lady Merlin. Everyone kind of surprised. Now, some people know who this is, others do not. Midoriya, you know this chick? Yeah, she's who I did my internship with. But didn't you pick the other agency? Yeah, I heard you picked them saying the name of the agency. Yeah, no, I didn't. I sort of changed it last minute. Damn right I did. She fucking swapped it on me. Now, Merlin goes on stating that she can help them. In fact, she's already tracked down most of the villains, and has their location. So, sometime tonight, they will be able to take them all down. Along with that, she has actually recruited a friend of hers, in case things do get messy. A friend? Miss Merlin, what friend? Well, I wouldn't want to spoil the surprise. I went through quite a lot of effort just to bring him here. Him? Ooh, I believe I'm giving away some spoilers. Well, just know that I believe you, All Might, and, well, I believe young Kirishima will be able to handle it. All Might, what is she talking about? Yeah, I would actually like to know. Kirishima butting in. All Might going on to explain. Young Kirishima and young Midoriya. Both of you two are extremely powerful. Young Kirishima is able to help him and hold out against the villain. However, there's also Midoriya. He was able to actually take him down. Now, he then actually does turn to Kirishima, saying that he believes that this assignment will be quite dangerous. So he would like to have a conversation with him, since he already knows what might happen. Now, him and All Might do take a step outside, Kirishima being told that he needs to stay here. Miss Merlin doesn't think so, but he absolutely believes he should. He is in his prime right now. And in case anything does go wrong, he doesn't want his successor to be hurt like he was, or possibly injured. But All Might, Midoriya healed you, he can heal me. That's not the point. Young Kirishima, what happens if you die, even for a second? Do you think that Midoriya can fix that? But All Might, please, I'm stronger now. Stronger isn't what I am worried about. You can't see what's important. What's important? Yes, young Midoriya doesn't have to worry about it, but you do. What's important? Now, as he does walk back inside, Midoriya actually does take a step outside, waving goodbye to everyone as he actually does tell Kirishima that he'll make sure he gets Bakugo and everyone back safely. So, don't try anything stupid. Don't risk your life without having to. Midoriya walking out. Merlin then following. Midoriya doesn't need, or he can't risk it, but he can. Life? Damn it. He wants me to make sure I know I'm alive. Shit. Maybe I still do have a lot left to learn. Okay. It'll be fine. Midoriya's with them. So, I guess I need to trust him, my mentor. Now, with that being said, we do have everyone who's kind of confused. Kirishima's strange. Why does he... Some students think that that's kind of out of place. Meanwhile, you do have Todoroki, who is a little bit more confused about all that. So, that just happened. Whatever that conversation was, he doesn't want him to risk his life. At least that's what I've gathered. Are you his actual son, Kirishima? This is just getting stranger and stranger. Then again, I guess I can keep my suspicions to myself. Now, later on into the night, we have Izuku Midoriya and the Pro Heroes getting ready to raid the villain's hideout. Now, All Might and Midoriya do actually begin talking. Both of them have their own ideas of how to get in there. Midoriya mainly just doing one thing. He immediately just launches himself up into the air. Now, as soon as Midoriya gets into the air, he goes in position. As soon as he's ready, he busts through the window, being able to restrain Dabi. Meanwhile, All Might and the Pro Heroes get to work on restraining Shigaraki and, well, Kirigiri. After that is said and done, you also do have the other people within the bar. I believe that there's at least a person with a gravity or the magnetic quirk. I don't remember what their name is. But anyways, they get restrained also. Along with that, Mr. Compress, who didn't get stuck in the forest. Now, with that being said, they are able to restrain these villains. And All Might declares that this job was actually a success. Now they just need to find, as an incident occurs a couple blocks away. As soon as All Might immediately hears that, he begins to run towards the window, immediately grabbing Midoriya by, well, his arm, and leaping off at 100% of his prime power. Midoriya suddenly feels all his force jerk him in one direction as they arrive. All for one not being prepared for a prime All Might. As soon as All for One did actually bring his hand up to go and block or at least grab All Might's fist, he immediately gets punched in his arm, breaking the left bone and actually causing him to fly that fly the opposite direction, before he does actually get back up, his arm immediately twisting and moving around before it does actually heal. Well, that was unexpected. All for one. All Might. My, you're in a lot better shape than I expected, my old friend. Old friend? You bastard, I know what you did. Whatever do you mean? I simply just stole your students. I took them for my own little gain. So you're going to be a lot more specific. I know about my master's grandchild. My. And how do you know about this, might I know? Or might I ask? I completely butchered that. Ruined the moment. Roll with it. Now, All Might then explains. It doesn't matter how he knows. He wants him to give up Shigaraki. Let him become a pro hero. The man still is innocent. You're funny, All Might. Don't you know? The boy has blood on his hands already. He murdered his family. His own sister. His own father. His own mother. No, you're lying. Am I, All Might? Am I really? Besides, if I'm lying, well now, I'll have you know, I wouldn't bet on it. Now, All for One immediately brings his hand up, and mumbles something. As soon as he does say that, Nomu begin to be released. However, these Nomu are odd. As soon as a few of them do stand up, and reveal themselves, well, it's kind of strange. One has white skin, and the other has red skin. Orange, and one even looks metallic. What the hell? All Might, be careful, those are Nomu. I'm well aware. Now this is quite inconvenient. Now, both these two get ready, along with the pro heroes on standby. All for One actually beginning to do something. He was told not to do this until All Might showed up. Well, All Might, he says, pulling something out of his pockets, immediately injecting it up into his neck. Now, you actually do watch as All for One does actually begin to grow a little bit in muscle. Before, that mask on his face actually does begin to, well, dent outwards. Before blood comes spewing out of the faceplate, All for One dropping onto his knees and screaming out in pain. Now, this actually does begin to surprise both of these two. What the hell did he just do? Young Midoriya, be on guard. I got it, All Might. But I have a better idea. Midoriya rushing in. As soon as he does actually rush in, he immediately just kicks All for One directly in his side, launching him up into the building. Now, All for One gets sent flying through that. Midoriya using his quirk and actually having it stream up to his arms. It's coming out of his shoulder, wrapping around his arms, and immediately he just throws his hands outwards, grabbing onto the building and pulling himself backwards, before running forwards and launching himself throughout the air. All Might watching what Midoriya is doing. Midoriya getting extremely close to All for One. As soon as he actually does get within range, he grabs onto that mask. He remembers, last time he and All for One met, that mask was damaged. If he damages it again, All for One will not be able to breathe. However, as soon as he actually does grab the mask and rip it from his face, there is a smile, along with fangs coming out of All for One's mouth. All for One immediately just lurching himself forwards. As soon as he does smash into a wall, Midoriya goes straight into his teeth. All for One beginning by being just ripping and tearing into Midoriya's, neck. Just beginning to suck blood. Midoriya caught off guard. Shit, no! Pulling himself away, cocking his arm backwards and trying to smash it directly in All For One's face. As soon as him and All For One, make contact, All For One just keeps biting into him and trying to tear into him. Midoriya just socking him over and over again in the side of the head. Before, Midoriya is already a quart and a half low of blood. All For One just pushing him backwards. Midoriya flying away at unknown speeds, before smashing back into the ground. His vision getting blurry for a second, and, the area beginning to heal. Midoriya getting back onto his feet, kind of confused. What the fuck was that? All Might, be careful. Now, All For One begins to heal. Along with that, something else is going on. His eyes are bloodshot red, and his hair. It's grown back. The entire top part of his face that was destroyed is restored. Those fangs coming out of his mouth and that dark aura coming off of him. It's not good. Meanwhile, we have close by, with Meliodas. He is actually at least smiling at the situation. He knew that old pact would come into play. So, I wondered, what would happen if I did this to a human? Actually, I think I've heard about this before. A demon and a vampire. That old pact. I wonder, is that race still around? Even if they are, they're probably just hiding in the shadows. Or in caves. It might be worth investigating. A possible ally. I can coat this world in darkness, and they can feed, rebuild their ranks. Meanwhile, back at the battle. All For One is beating just by trying to rip into and lash into Midoriya. And he's actually beginning to use those quirks he has. All For One has had over 5 years to prepare. Ever since he discovered he could not take the quirk of the immortal. He's had better ideas. He might not be able to become immortal himself, at least not biologically, but he has given many other things a shot, looking for the world's most extreme and dangerous quirks. So, he has them now. Now, as soon as All For One does actually get within range, he immediately just coats his body in spikes, all of them shooting out of All For One's arm and directly into Midoriya. Midoriya actually being impaled through his lung and through his heart, thinking for a second that matches the Nomu, before All For One grabs on Midoriya's face and rips it clean off. Before he can actually go to pull back his fingers and stab into Midoriya's brain, All Might immediately comes in, smashing directly across All For One's face. The force of the blow actually launching All For One backwards, and making him get sent flying away, before he actually does get back onto his feet, just burying his fangs at Midoriya. And All Might. Young Midoriya, are you alright? Midoriya snapping his neck back into place. I'm fine. However, just stay away from his teeth. Don't know what they can do. Now, as Midoriya does actually think this, he stumbles forwards onto his knees. His vision blurring for a second. What the hell? I see it does work. Him looking back at All For One. What are you talking about? Death cannot take you, but many other things can, can't they? Tell me, kid. Do you drink, perhaps? Midoriya's vision doubling. Before he actually does just begin to get dizzy. Now, All Might is kind of confused. What is he talking about? Him just holding up his hands. And you do have, at least, him shake it off. a strange brown liquid coming off of it. It's quite a potent quirk. He sweats something similar to tequila, or whiskey perhaps. It's strange. With every quirk he's found, like this one, putting them all together, well, anyone he makes skin-to-skin contact with, they can get a lethal dose of alcohol poisoning. However, short contact gets you incredibly drunk. Now, All For One continues stating that along with many other of his strange quirks, they are made to incapacitate. However, as actually does bring his hand up, forming the air cannon, and many other different weapons, the ginormous arm beginning to form, along with him actually growing in size a bit more, and wings beginning to form onto his back, saying that many other quirks he has were meant to kill. As he just flies forwards at incredible speeds, catching All Might off guard, him actually jumping backwards with 100% of force. As soon as that does happen, All For One, he actually is able to make contact with All Might, being able to hit him and send him flying. However, since All Might did actually go along with the hit, he wasn't hit with enough force to kill him, but he was at least stabbed in his side, ironically. Now, as soon as that did happen, he immediately smashed into a building and tried to get on the defensive. Now, as soon as he was actually able to block All For One's punch, he had great difficulty. And he did actually have to do something drastic, cocking back his left hand and going out 1,000,000%, smashing directly into this fist. Not only actually cracking through a lot of it, but causing All For One to scream out in pain as he would jump backwards. This being where he goes, or at least begins to go feral, as dark orbs begin to spew out from his body, immediately just firing their way directly at All For One, or All Might, my bad. Now, All Might is surprised watching this. Midoriya, as soon as he does see these, immediately screams for All Might to dodge them. Get out of the way! All Might confused, however he does listen. His plan was going to defend himself or at least block himself. However, that is not an option here. As soon as he does go to move, these orbs fire directly outwards. And they are, well, what is it? I don't believe that I remember the name of them. They're from the anime 7 Deadly Sins. It's what the white demons can do, or the gray demons, I believe they're called. Anyways, now, basically anything they touch immediately explodes into darkness, or is disintegrated. Now, as soon as this happens, All For One, well, he just watches this strange new power, his skin beginning to turn gray. Now, he actually does begin to laugh a bit. This is great. It's astonishing. Him beginning to laugh, and going from somewhat happy and joyful and normal to sadistic and crazy. The laugh of an absolute madman. Now, he then just looks directly at Midoriya, who is still having trouble. Shit, I can't see. I can barely stand. I feel like I'm gonna puke. Midoriya just thinking. Come on, why isn't he healing? Shit. Him thinking for 1 second. This is probably gonna be stupid, but hopefully it does work. Him bringing up his right hand. And trying to focus. Okay, I did it before. Come on. His hand being covered and immediately coated with his purple aura. Him beginning by trying to make claws of it, before trying to form a knife out of his hand. As soon as he's able to do so, he immediately stabs himself in the gut. A lot of people nearby who see this are confused and watching. Mountain Lady going on to state that that boy is insane, before he immediately just throws the knife upwards. As soon as he does so, he begins to reach into his own body, pulling out a few organs. As soon as he does so, he immediately not only begins to spew up quite a lot of blood and puke, but he then begins to heal. Midoriya's vision refocusing with his new organs. Now, Midoriya is happy he didn't heal fast enough. Otherwise, that could have gotten a lot more messy. Now, Midoriya basically ripped out his own liver and grew a new one, since his liver was being completely overpowered with this quirk. So, he got rid of it. Now, Midoriya's vision was still hazy, but it was at least beginning to return to normal. Before he looks up and sees what's going on. Now, he then screams out for All For One that he is his opponent. You took a lot of shit from me, All For One. But guess what? I'm not fighting for revenge. I'm fighting to protect everyone. Midoriya wiping the blood away from his mouth. Huh. Still healing from the inside, aren't I? Well, guess what, All For One? Midoriya looking to the skies and screaming with all his heart, "Critical overdrive!" All For One watching Midoriya grow in size. Just a little bit. His hero suit tearing, before he just completely just rips off the top of it. Midoriya just bulging with muscle, and his skin does actually begin to coat with his purple aura, as he just blitzes forwards. All Might completely shocked. Before, All For One just turns to him and tries to blast him. Midoriya just doing one thing. As soon as All For One blasts him, he creates claws. Not only do they extend outwards and throw themselves outwards, but they immediately grab into the ground, ripping up pieces of earth as they take the blow. As soon as that does happen, Midoriya just disappears, All For One confused. As soon as that piece of rock was blown apart, the kid was gone. However, there's Midoriya up in the sky, him coming down with his hands over his head and smashing them down into All For One's head, as hard as he can. As soon as he does so, immediately just turns and spins, socking him directly across the face, before throwing his left hand directly into his gut, as much force as he can. All For One hissing out, well, in fear and anger, before throwing his hand up and directly through Midoriya's chest. Everyone watching All For One hold Midoriya's heart, before crushing it, ripping his hand back through. All For One screaming out that this boy just does not know when to die. You're right about that. Midoriya smacking All For One in his ears, before throwing his fingers directly up All For One's nose, trying to rip downwards. As soon as Midoriya does do that, he actually does get what he needed, pulling out the front of All For One's skull. Now, All Might watches as All For One does actually begin to move backwards. Now, Midoriya immediately just rushes forwards, socking him directly in the gut and uppercutting him. As soon as All For One goes airborne, All Might does actually try and rush in, him leaping up into the skies before trying to do what he can do best. 1,000,000%. As soon as All Might gets into place, he lets his guard down. Midoriya immediately noticing that and trying to throw his hand, or what he can do with his quirk, directly towards All Might. As soon as the ginormous hand of purple, or at least what could be considered darkness, starts flying at All Might, All For One immediately just moves. Midoriya being able to grab All Might, or at least hit All Might directly in the chest, pushing him backwards. Okay, good. Midoriya using his other hand and flinging it up towards the sky. It's moving and snaking around throughout the air, immediately being able to grab All For One by the back of his spine. As Midoriya, he pulls back hard. Fox Hunt! Immediately ripping out the back of All For One's spine. Or at least a couple vertebrae. As soon as that does happen, All For One smashes into the ground. And All Might is shocked. Young Midoriya, you went too far. All Might, you don't understand. Heroes nowadays. All For One thinks, standing back up. All of you do is go for fame, glory, and what? Money? It's laughable. This boy, however, he has the right idea. Go for the kill. However, that won't work. I truly believe I've become immortal. Now, Midoriya watches as All For One's face grows back. What the hell? That's not possible. Him looking around. This feeling, he knows it. Looking for Meliodas. Eventually seeing him. Midoriya thinking, he needs to take him out now. He has something to do with this. Now, Midoriya rushes over towards him. All Might, watching Midoriya, just fly off in a different direction. Before Midoriya does actually land onto a roof. Now, Midoriya is directly face to face with Meliodas of the Ten Commandments. My, would you look at you, abandoning your own ally during a battle. He's going to need you down there. All Might can take care of himself. Okay. Let's see, I still have some magical power left. Along with my quirk. Weird. Feels just like when I was using that quirk enhancer. Strange. So, you really think that you can beat me where you're currently at, do you, human? It's not human. The name's Midoriya. In fact, you know what they're supposed to call me? They're supposed to call me Movie Star. At least that was my pro-hero name, but I'm thinking about getting it changed. Don't know how I can, but I have a few ideas. In fact, one of them might be possible. Either way, I'd like to introduce myself. I am now the Fox Sin of Greed. The Fox Sin. Greed. What made you think of that? I'll tell you once I kill you. Midoriya rushing forwards, shouting out that he was given a task, but that does not matter anymore. He fucked with his friends. As soon as Midoriya gets within range and he throws his fist outwards, it stops short. Midoriya confused. What the hell? I can't move. I told you it was pointless to fight me. Meliodas immediately just stabbing his hand directly into Midoriya, and letting out some of that hell flame, or demonic flames. Midoriya immediately just being scorched from the inside out, as he drops onto his knees. Weakened. What the hell was that? What did you do to me? I'll let you taste real power. Besides, I am Meliodas, the leader of the 10 Commandments. Didn't you ever wonder what that title truly meant? It's just that a title. No. It's a title with meaning. My commandment, the commandment of love. Love? Bullshit. You're the least loving person I've ever met. That is not. My head. That is not true. What are you talking about? Shut up! Meliodas kicking Midoriya's head clean off, his body falling backwards as his head does regrow. Now, Midoriya He then does at least look up, being able to try and move his body, being able to at least make eye contact with Meliodas. What the? The commandment of love. It means that as long as you bear hatred in your heart, you cannot attack me. It does not make any sense. It does not have to, human. This is magic. In fact, magic possessed by my father, the Demon King. Do you want to know something? Demons were born with fairly strong magical power levels. We were born with them naturally. Humans train them and develop them. We are one of the strongest species there are, aside from the gods. But the war, we nearly exterminated them. In fact, I have a few plans. And well, me and that man's exchange down there went well. Exchange? Yes. So I will give you an ultimatum. You are to give me any magical object within Merlin's possession. A magical object that must contain the soul of a goddess, or at least possibly contain the power of a god. Anything at all that you can find. And him pulling up 4 little orbs, saying that he will give these right back. Midoriya, as soon as he looks at those and sees them, he just filled with more rage. And he just immobilized even more. He cannot move a single muscle. Well then, that just proves it. Meliodas bending down in front of Midoriya and just holding them up in front of his face. Midoriya trying to even move his hand. He can't even do that. He can't even use his own quirk. Come on now. I'll give them to you for free. All you have to do is reach out and take them. But you can't even do that. Alright then. Him grabbing Midoriya and dragging him over to the ledge, throwing him against it as Midoriya is forced to watch the battle with All For One. There is All Might, standing there, bloody and beaten up. Him still on his own 2 feet. Meanwhile, you do have All For One. The man's increasing in size and power. Along with that, there's the damn Nomu. Pro heroes are trying to hold them off, and they can't even do that. Damn it. Here I am stuck powerless, and everyone's trying to help. Save people. Damn it. Now, Midoriya, he puts his eyes back onto the battle with All Might and All For One. These 2 were fated to fight. One is fated to die. He knows this in his heart. Now, All For One, he completely annihilates All Might, throwing him around and smashing him around, along with actually biting into him to sample some of All Might's power, wondering if he can take back that quirk by draining him of blood. Now, as soon as All Might is laying on the ground, broken and beaten, All For One does actually inform All Might of one simple thing. Tomura Shimura, his pupil and disciple, the one to inherit his power. He will bring his dream to fruition. In fact, he will make sure that Tomura Shigaraki becomes the greatest villain in history. The one they will mention eons from now. And that All Might, One For All, and even Nana Shimura are no longer tied to that boy. Now, All For One begins to rush forwards. Midoriya just thinking that no, this isn't how it ends. Now, before All For One can get any closer, the entire battlefield is coated with sunlight. And this is confusing. As soon as that does happen, All for One is immediately just chopped in half. A bright flash, then All for One flown backwards throughout a building. And at least half of his torso or half of his body lying on the ground. And there it is. It shines and glows with power. Midoriya can see it. That's not possible. A giant axe? What's it doing in the middle of the battlefield? Where did it come from? That's not possible, is it? Wait a minute. The help. Lady Merlin. Midoriya says. Now, this is whenever Meliodas actually does look up to see what's going on. What is that? Now, with that being said, I do believe that this is a good point to leave this off of. And I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing night. I'll catch you guys in the next part.